Hey guys, Bridget here. In this video, we're going to create this mobile app design from scratch using Figma. So by the end of this video, you're going to learn all sorts of different tips and tricks and workflows that I used over the past years working as a designer in order to create mobile apps as well as websites and dashboard apps from scratch. So let's jump right into the video. All right, we're back in Figma, and the very first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to create a frame, which is going to be iPhone 13 Pro Max. And let's zoom in, and we're going to rename this to 1. And the very next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to start by adding a layout grid in order to create the foundations for this iOS device. So let's add just 2 columns, since on mobile I think that's enough in most cases. We just need some margin in order to give it some breathing room. And now let's also change the color of these columns to make it light gray so that we still see the design below. Now let's go on Nucleo Icons, which is a free icon management software which you can download for free at nucleoapp.com, I believe. And let's write menu. We're going to go with a hamburger menu for this case. So let's go over here. We're going to add this guy right here. As you can see, by default, it's creating a frame. Now I want to unframe it. I'm going to use Shift, Command, and G in order to unframe it. And this makes it easier for us to work with colors, especially. So let's also increase this by using the K key in order to access the scale tool right here. And going to make it just a little bit bigger. Let's bring it down just a notch, and here we go. All right, now let's use the text tool in order to add some text. So I'm going to write welcome, and let's position it right here. We're going to use Lato for this design. And we're going to make this text just a little bit lighter in color, or actually let's try and sample the same color, which you can use this tool right here. And I think this is looking good. Now let's go back in Nucleo, and now let's grab an alert icon, since we need a place to store all of the notifications so that it's going to be clear for the users. Let's use the K tool again to make it bigger. Let's unframe it, change the color, and let's bring it right here. Now what we're gonna do is we're also going to add sort of a touch point, which is going to be a rectangle. Let's bring this guy to the center. Actually, let's use this in order to center them. I'm going to round up the corners, this element right here, use the same color, and then 10% opacity, and we are in business. All right, well, let's pretend that there is a notification going on at the moment. So I'm going to create a circle. I'm going to give it a reddish color, and I think we are heading in the right direction. So now it's time to create a other rectangle. So I'm actually going to duplicate this one, since we already have the corner radius, the border radius styles, and I'm going to bring it down, and this is going to be the main card. So let's make it 100% opacity. We're going to figure out a color. It's probably going to be around these lines, something light, you can still see. And by the way, this is a replica of a screen in a banking mobile app UI kit, which you can find on UI8. Credits to them for this amazing design, and highly recommend you to check it out, since it's a really cool UI kit. Now, that being said, let's continue and let's add the value right here. It's going to be 9,000. And let's make it regular. And at this point, what we're gonna do is we're going to add two elements on the top. First one is going to be chart. Let's make it a little bit smaller text size. Let's make it bold. And the second one is going to be table. All right, let's decrease the size of this guy right here. Let's make it white, then 10%. Since we almost want to create a pill around the chart element to make it clear that it's selected. And this is looking pretty good so far. Let's make it 12. And we are in business. All right, now at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to lock this layer and to create a few lines. As you can see, we want to bring this one more on the right. I'm going to have 3 lines. Make them 0.5. Let's make it lighter. Actually, it's 0.7. And I'm going to write, actually grab these texts, make it smaller. Write 100. So it's going to be 0. This one's 50. Let's use the pen tool in order to create these lines. All right. Let's do something like that. So at this point, it's just about kind of like trying to figure out the right places to create these new parts of the graph. And I think this is all good. All right, so at this point, we can adjust some of these points if we want, if we see fit. And we can potentially make it just a little bit bigger and also add some sort of a indicator of the selected point. So let's do that. Let's do 2.5. Let's create this point in the middle. Now what we're gonna do next is we're going to create a section with an amount, say 980. So it's going to be 100%. Let's bring both to the very top. And let's shrink this element in size. Probably also add a little bit of a drop shadow in the mix. Let's do this here as well. All right. So this is totally heading in the right direction. Let's maybe make this one smaller. And let's write here the text. So let's add all the other months. I'm using Command plus D in order to duplicate this after I use Alt for creating the first element. Let's use the center over here. We're going to write February, March, April, and May. Cool. So if we zoom out, I'm noticing that probably we can make this stroke a little bit bigger. And now it's time to add some other elements. So the very first one is going to be the circles to kind of like browse through these different cards. And let's go over here in the chart. And let's go and add some different elements. Copy over here. And let's go right here. And I'm going to use the same color. We make these individual graph elements a little bit smaller. So let's select them. Let's give it less width. And this is looking good. Let's make it just a little bit bigger in size. And here we go. All right, let's add the other elements below. This one's going to be total balance. Let's write a number. We're going to have a second heading for the transactions. Let's make it just a little bit smaller and bold. Let's make it black. Now we're going to create a few different avatars with also some dots which indicate if they are online or not. Right, I'm going to group it, and then I'm going to create a few of these. Bring this one to the far right, and I'm going to use the distribute horizontal spacing in order to basically create the different spacing for these. I'm going to select a few different ones, and I'm going to change the color. This one I'm going to make it red, just like this dot right here. And we have the different avatars. Now at this point, what we're gonna do is we're going to leverage an amazing plugin which is called Content Reel. If you've been following the channel for a while, you might already know it. So let's just wait for it to basically upload. It's taking some time, but good things comes to those who wait. And yeah, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee in the meantime. As you can see here, we already have a few suggestions which we can easily leverage. Really like these colors. Now you want to be mindful of the colors as well in the layout, but I think these tonalities work well all together and all things considered. So we are ready to move on to the next section, which is going to be a transactions history. Let's bring it right here. I'm going to have some rounded elements here below. Or actually, let's just duplicate this one. And we're going to duplicate this as well. Let's make it black. Going to write here McDonald's, and we're going to have a date below. Let's make it just a bit smaller though. We're also going to have an icon, just going to be an arrow. And this is going to essentially give a hint to move to the very next section, to the dedicated section. Now what we're gonna do next is we're going to copy this group, duplicate it just a few times. The arrow is going to be lighter, just like that. And at this point, we're going to leverage content reel again. So let's go under plugins and content reel, of course, ABC. Let's select this one. I'm going to add a date. Okay, so it's going to be Nike. And this one is going to be, why am I not thinking about any brand? Oh, right, all right, cool. So McDonald's, Nike, Puma, and we are pretty much ready to continue. Let's make this one bold. Now it's time to open a new window in Safari and write McDonald's logo. And I'm going to, well, this one's going to be pretty straightforward. We want to just add the logo. Let's see if this size is going to make it. I think so. Yep. Cool. McDonald's. Now Nike logo. Let's go with this one. Yep, works. Let's make it smaller. As you can see, both of these images are outside the artboard, so let's just bring them in. And let's write, let's use this one. Actually, let's change. Let's go with Vuitton. Just want to have a different type of logo, different genre. And this one's gonna work. Copy image. Let's paste it over here. And here we go. All right. So this one's going to be white. This one's going to have a stroke right here. And 100%. And I think we're definitely going well. All right, let's change also this color. Perfect. Let's make this one lower in opacity. Let's bring this guy below. Let's make this copy just a little bit bigger. So kind of like refining this latest elements. And yeah, overall I think this is looking good. Let's add an effect. Let's bring this shadow below. Let's make it lighter. And we're ready to continue with the next screen.